What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today, I'm back from Monaco, first and foremost. More videos on that later. But today, we've got a gameplay features trailer for F1 22, which outlines most of the new features with this game, possibly all of the new features. And our first look at some F1 life customization. Some of the supercars, your house behind the scenes. So this is really the first kind of gameplay we're getting of that. So we're going to break down the trailer, go frame by frame, and see if there's anything we can deep dive into and get a greater understanding of. So please like and subscribe, and let's get into this trailer breakdown. Okay, so this is where we start off with the trailer. If you want to watch the full thing, I'll leave a link down in the description. Let's get into it. At this point, it looks like we have the actual car models, that being the 2022 Ferrari with the skinnier nose. The early gameplay footage we showed already, they were just the generic F1 car by FOM. So it's good to see that that is actually there. F1 22. Gameplay features. Let's get hyped. Race day redefined. Casual Mercedes getting overtaken around the outside like it's standing still. I'm not sure Merc would be happy with that presentation of their car. New handling. Apparently a new tyre model in this year's game, which is really cool to see. And it reflects the new regulation cars as well. They're very understeery at high speed, naturally because they've lost overall downforce compared to last year's cars, but also they're a bit more tricky to drive, at least in the build that I played. Very easy to get wheel spin and spin out with no traction control. Cars are definitely more difficult to drive now, which is really cool. And I believe that they're using like 12 points of reference for underneath the car for like suspension and stuff, so it makes the feedback that you get when you go over curbs that much more detailed. So at least from what I've found, you can easily spin on some high-profile curbs at like Miami, for example. Anyway, nice little dive bomb here into Singapore, middle sector. We got F1 sprint races. We now have formation laps, which are more immersive this year. You can basically drive the formation lap, and as you'll see here in just a second, you can actually stop in your grid slot, which is actually really cool. If you miss your grid slot, you go too far, it'll reset you and put you further back. So making sure you get it in the purple zone is optimal. We have new broadcast features as well. So if you choose not to do the actual formation lap, you can have replay cameras that showcase that for you, which is really nice. And that goes through to the pit stops as well, which I'm no doubt sure we'll see in just a second. Boom, pit stop errors. This right here, you overset the marks, and then it takes your team a few extra seconds to actually get the wheel on, which is really, really sick. So you don't want to be messing that up. It would have been cool, though, if it was like how it was on F1 2010, where you actually have to slow down for your pit box as well. Maybe they can incorporate that in the same way that they've done the manual grid slot into next year's game or something. But so far, you can only turn in, and that predetermines how good your pit stop's going to be. Immersive broadcast safety car. Yeah, you can basically have control of the behind the safety car, as you always have. But if you don't want to control your car, you can actually revert it to a broadcast safety car, where it all goes through replay cameras. I'm not so sure on that one. I experienced a glitch where the game made a pit stop for me, and I didn't want to make a pit stop under that safety car, so that cost me, and I hope that that's fixed. I'm pretty sure it will be fixed for the full version of the game, but it's worth mentioning anyway. I missed this. I actually just saw this on Twitter. Look at P21 there on the timing board. That is Nico Hulkenberg. Now, Nico Hulkenberg isn't a current F1 driver. He's not an F2 or F3 driver or involved in any other FIA rated series, I don't think, at this stage, but he is there in the game as a My Team teammate. So he hasn't been in the F1 game for quite a while. Now that probably confirms that there's going to be extra drivers to choose from in the pool of non-contracted drivers to sign for your My Team. So at the very least, we're getting at least one new person. Nico Hulkenberg in the game. Lovely stuff. Really, really cool. I do love these new broadcast options. Personally, I think I'm going to do the new pit stop option. I'm not a huge fan of actually doing the pit stop myself. It's only turning in. It doesn't add to the immersion that much for me. Anyway, we have new practice programs, at least in terms of the UI. You can see that's the track acclimatization program that you have to pass. This one is... what is that? Probably tire wear. It looks like you're having to... oh yeah, get the optimal fuel usage. Okay, so just the way that they graph it is slightly different, which was a little bit not concerning, confusing. And the new driving line is what is that about? Why does it go from red to green? Because you're already like full throttle through here. As a long-time player of the game, that line on the track looks a little bit counterintuitive. Maybe, perhaps those are like areas where tire wear is very harsh, denoting red. I don't know, but then it goes red again further down the straight. I'm not... That one's confusing for me. What else do we have? Adaptive AI. Adaptive AI is where you, well, leave the difficulty to the game's discretion, and it'll adjust it up and down based on how well you're doing. We now have choose your own race style, casual, standard, and expert. Yeah, that's been a thing in the games, so that just helps add to the accessibility of the game. Here is the accessibility. You can control the AI difficulty as you always have. That's all the same, not worth talking about. In the next slide, you can see we've got the new circuit updates. So Abu Dhabi, you can see that's the triple chicane at the start of Sector 3. It's now one big loop, as you see in real life. We now move on to Australia, where they've also, widened out the track and made it reflect exactly like real life. Spain is included in that as well. And of course, we have Miami. Very difficult track to get used to on this year's game. I would not recommend doing that straight away with the new cars, because that's a massive learning curve. I'd recommend just learning on a track that you're quite good at. We now move on to F1 Life. Now, this is the lifestyle section of the game where you've got access to supercars. You can have your own house, change up the look of your furniture and your clothes, and controversially for a lot of people, they don't like it. I kind of do. I am a big fan of lifestyle and cars, obviously, so I'm quite excited to see where they take this. Yes, this is a big grab at microtransactions, but if this is done well, if this is expanded upon well, I think in the years to come, this could be absolutely huge. And this is one thing I always really liked from the NBA games, how you had a lot of customization and almost personalization off the court. And this is what's reflected off the track. So we have supercars in the game, the Mercedes AMG GTR Pro, just like the safety car. That is an Aston Martin Vantage. So we get to confirm some of the cars that are in here in this year's game. That's Ferrari F8 Tributo. Here we have a McLaren Artura, which actually isn't even out yet, at least for the majority of the public. So this will be a first chance for most people to experience this car. So we now move on to the 720S. So that's two McLaren models confirmed. Mercedes AMG GTR. And now here we have the first look at the actual customization within F1 Life. So you can see you got this very bougie looking closet. We got some casual clothes in the background, but I can see some smart attire there mixed in as well. You've got this blazer type thing, some smarter looking shoes, towels up there, seating, suitcases. You're always going to be on the move and traveling, so that is interesting. But you've got all these different characters you can select from. And interestingly, it's not just random generic brands. They're actually using real life brands in F1 Life, which is quite interesting. We have Sparko as one of them. highly affiliated with motorsport, obviously. We have Beats. We can choose Beats headphones. We better have some snapbacks in the game, or I'm not going to be happy. Anti-social social club, Puma. So you're going to see a lot of brands that are associated with F1 in the F1 game, I imagine. Tommy Hilfiger, potentially. That's just me guessing. We got Sparko there. Some driver suits here. I think I should probably slow down, actually. Let's just go through this literally frame by frame and see if we can find anything else that's not overly obvious. And with this, I'm pretty certain it's just going to be aesthetic stuff. It doesn't actually have any kind of gameplay purpose. You're not going to see this on an F1 weekend, I don't imagine. It would be cool to see some cutscenes of your driver showing up on Thursday morning to the track for the first time, like the drivers do in their own personal clothes, before they actually have to wear their team attire from Friday onwards, or Thursday afternoon onwards, whatever it is. But I don't imagine that's a thing. That's definitely something they could build upon. We have Stance. Never heard of Stance. Some cool looking shoes. None that I'd personally wear. Some horrible race looking boots. No thank you. I'm not wearing that in my personal time. And now here we have some driver suits. These all look pretty meh to be. That's alright, actually. But, you know, these are just the bog standard ones. I'm sure nicer ones will come out in time. 5 helmets to choose from initially. And, of course, they always add to that with the F1 Podium Pass. Headwear. We got sunglasses. We can customize sunglasses, t-shirts, shorts, pants, and shoes. Now we move on to the race attire, helmets. This is all the same, actually. Now we move on to furniture. And an F1 game, and we're looking at furniture. Is this IKEA Simulator? This is a little bit gimmicky, but if this is done right, it'll be cool. But it remains to be seen. I mean, can we go to other players' houses and hang out in a F1 open lobby while we wait for a race to start? If that's the case, then, you know, that could be cool. But if you can only literally see this in the menu at the start or something, then that, you know, not so great. We have wall art. That's really cool. That's the My Team factory boulevard, which is really sick. It's not a bad first attempt. I like where the direction they're actually trying to go here, but like I said, it has to be for a purpose and it has to add to the game. But I do respect them for going bold and trying something new. You can wow, you can change your wall art, bricks, marble effects, even like tile looking stuff, urban grey. I mean, I'm not an interior designer, but I can appreciate that this is pretty cool to go into at least some detail with how you want to outline your space. Again, there's the Ferrari F8 Tributo. They've got the 2 safety cars, so I guess you can collect the safety cars in your personal collection as well, which is pretty cool. And I imagine they're probably going to add more supercars to the list as and when they get licensed to them. So far we have the Mercedes as a brand. We have McLaren, Ferrari, and Aston Martin. So that's 4 there so far. Will they add any more in the future? It remains to be seen, but not a bad way to start. We'll hopefully get a full confirmation of the car list at some point. That does look really cool. That is car goals. That is garage goals right there. And it looks like there's maybe some kind of event going on there. Multiple players there admiring the car in what looks like to be Miami vibes. Whoever owns this house, this is an F1 driver who's not new to the scene. This is definitely someone with a bit of money who's been around a long time. Ferrari Roma is in the game. Oh, I love these lights as well. Any kind of garage that has these lights is sick. I want those when I get a house one day. Moving, what have we got in the background? That looks like some kind of... I don't even know what that is. I'm not... Moving on. Again, Aston Martin. No recognizable faces there. Hello, trophy room. I wanted a trophy room to actually showcase visually the trophies you have earned, and it looks like we are going to get it inside our own flipping house. Yes! Can we walk around our house? If we can walk around our house, have a look at the cars, have a look at the supercars. Screw it, go for a swim in between races. That would be sick. But I like that they've actually physically made a trophy room instead of it being a UI menu. What else do we have? Enhancements to my team. I don't see any enhancements so far. Oh, look at the My Team car. That is so good. The 2022 car is such a nice blank canvas to start off in. The liveries that I'm going to make in partnership with my graphics designer are going to be so good. It's going to look so mean. I love this car, and I can't wait to show you guys my team car at some point. Mwah. But I wish we could change that nose. The front nose is too thick and ugly. I wish it would be thinner, much like the Ferrari and many other cars, to make it just a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. But maybe that's too much to ask. Support merch push or concentrate on upcoming race. This is, again, a department event. We can't afford to let Piastri get distracted, and the merchandise can sell itself. Do we want to launch with it or launch without? Again, yeah, more dilemmas to be had. Wind tunnel facilities, that all looks the same, and it looks like we have the same amount of departments at the top of the screen there on the left. Pit equipment, that is new. So we got simulator, which affects the driver's pace. Fitness center, analysis suite, affects the experience. And then here, yeah, pit equipment, that is definitely new for this year's game. Pit stop performance is slightly improved every time you boost that. So that's nice to see. I think that was overdue, and it's good to see that they're at least adding something to the My Team experience. Will we have anything more? There's the simulator. That's when you're on level 1, looking around. Cutscenes. 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 So far, oh hello, that guy's good looking. So far it looks like one tiny little department addition, and they changed the practice programs. Oh, and they've done new starting points for My Team. Not too much in the way of additions to My Team, which is a little disappointing if you play solely for My Team. But moving on, this is career mode. We've got the choice of all the 10 teams in both single player and 2-player. A few people were worried if 2-player career was going to be a thing on this year's game. Of course it is, returning once again. And new for 2-player career this year, you can actually have department events like you have in My Team. So those dilemmas, you have to work together with your friend. That being Alex Gillen. Not looking forward to working with him on those. We're definitely going to have some conflicts there. Gearbox has now been bundled in with the rest of the power unit components, and that just minimizes one extra column to have in that, so that simplifies it a little bit, which is nice to see. In a few years' time, I think we'll be getting rid of the MGUK as a new engine regulation change. So don't get used to seeing that for too much longer. And again, we have contract negotiations. You can choose to leave your team mid-season if you're doing one of a longer race season. And now, speaking of, we are now at the calendar. And crucially, if you look over to your right, you can see both Portugal and China are on the track list from what looks like the launch of the game, I'm guessing. Don't quote me on that, but Portugal and China are tracks you can drive on this year's game. China was on last year's game, but Portugal isn't on the calendar this year, and they've just decided to throw it in from the start or at some point in the game's life cycle. Will we see more additional tracks added in a DLC? Rumors are you might be able to. In fact, we had Lee Mather say in one of the EA creator interviews that he wouldn't say no, or he didn't deny the the introduction of extra tracks at some point in this year's game. He just said, stay tuned. Hello. First mention of multiplayer. Split screen is going to remain a feature in the F1 game franchise, which is nice to see. Are we going to get any extra information on multiplayer? No. No, just some B-roll. That is disappointing. I hope that they're saving something up their sleeve for later on. We're only mere weeks away from the game releasing, and all we get is multiplayer. Yes. Yes, we have multiplayer. F2 is in the game. Lovely stuff. I'm sure we'll start off with the 2021 season, and then later on in the year, we'll get the 2022 cars and drivers added into the game. B-roll, 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 B-roll. And that is the trailer. Out July 1st, 2022. Most of these things we pretty much already knew, didn't we? It was just a case of seeing the customization for the first time, and then seeing those little tidbits with, the trophy room, and then the extra department stuff with my team. Not too much added in the way of single-player stuff. It looks like they've focused heavily on the F1 Life side of things. VR is in the game as well, if you didn't know that already. But yeah, most of these things we kind of already knew, and we already deduced from the preview build of the game. So hopefully that has mostly brought you up to speed on what is new with the F1 game. If you haven't seen my gameplay videos on F1 22, go check them out. I'll leave links to that, or the playlist to that, down in the description. I did 100% race. I did quite a few other things, VR, etc. And it's very cool. So the gameplay side of things, there isn't too much added, at least when it comes to like on-track action. The main changes are from the regulation changes of the new cars, and also we can now drive the supercars and the safety cars, however only in time trial and certain single-player game modes within the game. So would have been great to play supercars in multiplayer and also play as the safety cars in multiplayer. I don't know why that's not in the game, but that would actually be a great feature. Looks like we won't get that this year. Hopefully next year, if the other cars are well received, which hopefully they will be in the long run. But the general consensus is that a lot of people don't like the supercars, but I might be in the minority there. You'll have to let me know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of all the changes with F1 22. Very much looking forward to getting my hands on the full game in only a few weeks' time. The end of June, start of July is when you can basically pick up the game, depending on which game version you actually end up going for. But exciting times. A new F1 game is on the horizon, and a new season of career mode, my team, is going to be coming, plus many other videos. And then also we have the new F1 Manager game coming out sometime in the summer. It's an exciting time to be an F1 fan. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. And if there's any further news on F1 22, I'll either tweet about it or I'll make a future video. So stay tuned. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.